Think Scary Movie was just a dumb parody? Think again. Behind the jokes was total chaos, secret rewrites, crazy improv, near bans, and real-life horror on set. Here are the 20 weirdest and funniest facts you never knew. Fact 1. If you ever wondered why Shorty Meeks feels way too real, there's a reason. Marlon Wayans has openly admitted he filmed many scenes while method acting his character's stoner energy, which in translation means he was actually high. According to cast interviews, Wayans showed up to set in full Shorty mode, snacks in hand, sunglasses on, and occasionally forgetting his lines. But instead of reining him in, director Keenen Ivory Wayans encouraged it. His improvised reactions were so funny that much of Shorty's dialogue wasn't in the script at all. That famous "how you doing, baby" and "yo, ghost, hit this" moment, completely improvised. The crew had to cut multiple takes because people couldn't stop laughing behind the camera. The irony is, Marlon's goofy energy ended up balancing the film's outrageous violence. Amidst the chaos, Shorty became the heart of Scary Movie, a stoned, happy-go-lucky guy who didn't even realize he was in danger. Fact 2. In one of Hollywood's most delicious bits of irony, Scary Movie was filmed in the exact same house as Scream's final act. The production rented the location on a sprawling estate in Sonoma County and used many of the same rooms, hallways, and even the kitchen setup from Wes Craven's original. If you look closely, you can see it's nearly identical, just dressed with different lighting and props. The filmmakers did this intentionally, creating a subconscious familiarity so audiences would instantly recognize what they were parodying. The twist? Scream's original final party sequence took 21 straight nights to film. Scary Movie's version was done in half that time, but with twice the chaos. Between fake blood, broken props, and endless improv, the crew said it felt like shooting Scream inside a cartoon. That meta decision to shoot in the same place horror history was made gave Scary Movie an invisible layer of authenticity. It wasn't just parodying Scream, it was literally haunting the same ground. Fact 3. Before it was Scary Movie, the film had an absolutely insane working title. Last summer I screamed because Halloween fell on Friday the 13th. It was meant as a parody of the trend of long, melodramatic horror titles, I Know What You Did Last Summer, When a Stranger Calls, and more. But the studio eventually realized that while it was hilarious, it was also impossible to market. It wouldn't even fit on the poster. Interestingly, Scary Movie was actually the original working title for Scream back in 1996. When Wes Craven's team changed it, the Wayans brothers decided to steal it back as an inside joke. The title ended up being perfectly simple, self-aware, and instantly recognizable. It told audiences exactly what to expect without giving anything away. Even funnier, in early screenings, audiences thought Scary Movie was the name of a fake film inside the story, not the movie itself. That kind of meta-confusion only added to the charm. So while the film could have gone down in history with the longest title ever, the decision to keep it short, sharp, and self-referential was one of the smartest creative moves the Wayans ever made. Fact 4. It's hard to imagine Scary Movie without the goofy Ghostface mask, but believe it or not, the producers almost couldn't use it. The mask design was owned by Fun World, the same company that licensed it to Scream. Miramax and Dimension Films, who made Scary Movie, were technically different divisions under the Weinstein Company umbrella, which led to a weird legal snag. For a few weeks, production was told they might have to invent a new mask. The costume department even tried creating alternate designs, including a melting clown and a grimacing skeleton, but none of them worked. Audiences wouldn't get the joke if the mask wasn't recognizable. Keenen Ivory Wayans eventually convinced the studio to pull some strings and get the licensing rights. Ironically, the Scream producers hated the idea that their iconic killer mask would be used for a parody. It turned out to be one of the smartest decisions ever. That mask became a comedy icon in its own right, twisted from terrifying to hilarious without changing a single thing. Sometimes the biggest laughs come from using the exact same tools horror uses to scare you. Fact 5. You can tell a movie was fun to make when food becomes part of the legend. According to multiple cast members, the Scary Movie crew went through over 200 pizzas during filming. Between long overnight shoots, improv rehearsals, and dozens of retakes, pizza became the unofficial on-set fuel. Faris joked that by week 3, the smell of pepperoni was stronger than fake blood. Sean and Marlon Wayans were notorious for ordering ridiculous toppings: pineapple, anchovies, and extra everything. It got so bad that production assistants started labeling boxes "director only" to stop the cast from rating them between takes. One day, Keenen Ivory Wayans tried to enforce a healthy catering day, salads, wraps, and water only, but nobody ate. By lunch, someone had secretly ordered 20 pizzas from 3 different restaurants. The crew revolted in laughter and the director gave up. It sounds silly, but that food-fueled camaraderie helped keep spirits high during the insane production schedule. Long nights, chaotic jokes, and greasy fingers, the perfect combination for a movie that didn't take itself seriously for a single frame. Fact 6. When Scary Movie hit theaters in 2000, no one expected it to become a phenomenon. Critics were divided, but audiences couldn't get enough. With a budget of around $19 million, it grossed over $275 million worldwide, making it the most successful parody film ever made at the time. But beyond box office numbers, Scary Movie completely reshaped modern comedy. It revived the parody genre for a new generation, blending slapstick, meta-humor, and R-rated chaos in a way that hadn't been done before. It also proved that audiences were ready to laugh at the movies they loved, especially horror. The Wayans brothers created a formula that Hollywood tried to replicate for years, spawning countless imitators like epic movie, date movie, and superhero movie. None quite matched the magic of that first Scary Movie, which balanced satire, social commentary, and pure insanity perfectly. It's ironic that a film built entirely on mocking others ended up becoming a cultural landmark itself. 20 years later, people still quote it, still meme it, and still laugh like it's brand new. Fact 7. The opening parody of Scream featuring Carmen Electra as Drew Decker, a parody of Drew Barrymore's character, is one of the most iconic moments in Scary Movie, but behind the scenes it was total chaos. First off, Carmen's chase scene was filmed on one of the coldest nights of production, and she was running around barefoot in a tiny nightgown. The grass was soaked, the fake rain machines were blasting non-stop, and she kept slipping between takes. Crew members had to wrap her in blankets between shots and even used portable heaters to keep her from freezing. The famous breast implant stabbing gag took multiple takes because the prosthetics kept popping too early or not at all. Carmen later laughed that she had the most expensive pair of fake boobs in movie history because each set cost thousands of dollars to mold and replace. What's even funnier, her death scream wasn't recorded on set. She redubbed it weeks later in a sound booth, making it intentionally over the top. Carmen said she based it on a mix of Marilyn Monroe and a really startled Chihuahua. The end result, a scene that set the tone for Scary Movie ridiculous, self-aware, and totally fearless. Fact 8. There's a moment in Scary Movie where Cindy and Bobby share one of the most awkward, over-the-top kisses in comedy history. All drool, tongue, and weird noises. What's surprising is that the studio wanted to cut it completely. Executives thought it was too gross and would kill the romance subplot. Anna Faris and John Abrahams, however, fought to keep it in. They argued that the whole point was to make fun of those overly dramatic teen movie kisses that feel more like food fights than love scenes. So to push the absurdity even further, they improvised the entire thing on set. The crew couldn't stop laughing even though the camera operator had to turn away. When test audiences saw it, they lost it. The kiss went from being nearly deleted to one of the film's biggest comedic highlights. Anna Faris later called it the moment Cindy stopped being a victim and became a complete lunatic. Ironically, it also broke the ice between the two actors, who became close friends afterward. Sometimes the weirder the scene, the bigger the payoff. Fact 9. When the Wayans brothers pitched Scary Movie, studios thought parody films were dead. Parody had been stale since Airplane, and Naked Gun and horror comedy was considered box office poison. But the Wayans had one thing the others didn't: zero shame and total creative freedom. They wrote a script so raunchy and self-aware that Miramax didn't know whether to reject it or hide it from the censors. The first draft was so insane it included scenes that spoofed the Blair Witch Project, The Sixth Sense, and Titanic. The studio panicked. Keenen Ivory Wayans was told to cut it down, focus on Scream and I Know What You Did Last Summer, and hope for the best. What they didn't expect was a cultural explosion. Against all odds, Scary Movie became a box office monster. The highest-grossing film ever directed by an African American at the time. It wasn't just a parody, it was a resurrection of the parody genre, rebooted with weed jokes, body humor, and brutal honesty about the horror cliches we all secretly loved. Fact 10. Before Scary Movie, Anna Faris wasn't a star, she wasn't even known. In fact, she'd only done a few small projects and a fast food commercial. The producers spotted her in that ad and were so captivated by her expressive face and awkward charm that they brought her in to audition. When she read for Cindy Campbell, the team realized she could play innocence and absurdity at the same time. She didn't just react to the insanity around her, she made it funnier by playing it completely straight. That wide-eyed, oblivious to danger performance became her signature style and launched her entire comedy career. What's crazy is that Anna didn't even think she was funny at first. She treated the part like a horror role and thought she'd be fired for not being zany enough. But Keenen Ivory Wayans told her the secret to good parody is sincerity, to play it like the character believes everything's real. The rest is history. After Scary Movie, Anna Faris became the new queen of modern parody comedy, later headlining 4 sequels and even turning down major roles to keep Cindy's clueless legacy alive. Fact 11. If you remember the beginning of Scary Movie, you'll never forget Carmen Electra being chased by a masked killer, dodging knives, and getting hit by sprinklers in slow motion. It's a perfect parody of Drew Barrymore's iconic Scream opener, but way dirtier. Originally, it was even worse. The Wayans brothers shot an extended version featuring cartoonishly gory deaths and a few too explicit visual gags that left test audiences gasping, not laughing. The MPAA nearly slapped the film with an NC-17 rating unless they trimmed the sequence. But that chaos paid off, and it set the tone immediately. Carmen Electra later revealed she had to redo scenes while covered in fake blood and goosebumps because the crew kept laughing mid-take. Her final death, impaled by a garden gnome, was improvised on the day of filming. That opening wasn't just a parody, it was a statement. Scary Movie was telling audiences, we're not just here to spoof horror, we're here to destroy every rule, and it worked. From the first minute, it promised audiences something horror rarely delivers: permission to laugh at the blood. Fact 12. The mask may look ridiculous, but on set, it actually freaked people out. During filming, the actor inside the Ghostface costume, Dave Sheridan, was instructed to stay in character even between takes, sneaking around the set and silently staring at crew members through doorways. He did it to help the other actors react more naturally. Anna Faris later said, "It was funny at first, then it got creepy. You'd turn around and he'd just be there." Sheridan even used his own improvisations to make the scenes more chaotic. In the bedroom scene where Cindy fights Ghostface, he unexpectedly throws himself into walls, breaking a prop lamp and causing real panic. And they kept that. Beneath the slapstick and sexual jokes, there's actual tension because on set, half the cast didn't know what was coming next. That blend of genuine fear and absurdity is what made Scary Movie stand out. It wasn't just spoofing horror tropes, it was living them, one accidental jump scare at a time. Fact 13. The Scary Movie script you see on screen. It barely existed as a final version. The Wayans brothers treated the film like a living, breathing improv session. Every morning, they'd meet before filming, toss out lines from the previous day, and replace them with new gags written overnight. Marlon Wayans once said that half the movie wasn't even in the script. That includes entire scenes like the vacuum cleaner sequence, Shorty's weed jokes, and Brenda's "You ain't dead yet" bit in the movie theater. These came from on-set brainstorming and late-night writing sessions in hotel rooms. Because the jokes changed daily, the cast never knew what they'd be doing next. Anna Faris described showing up to set and discovering completely new dialogue taped to the wall 5 minutes before a take. That constant evolution kept the film feeling unpredictable both for the audience and the actors. It also explains why Scary Movie feels so chaotic and spontaneous. Fact 14. The chaotic scene where Brenda, Regina Hall, gets murdered in a movie theater for being too loud. Believe it or not, that was inspired by real-life experiences the Wayans brothers had. Watching horror films in packed cinemas, they noticed how some audience members, especially in urban theaters, would talk back to the screen, shout warnings like "don't go in there," or comment loudly on dumb character decisions. The Wayans thought it was hilarious and decided to turn that behavior into an actual murder motive. But there's a twist. During early screenings of Scary Movie, audiences did the exact same thing. People shouted, cheered, and screamed through the scene where Brenda dies, basically recreating what the movie was parodying. Regina Hall's over-the-top performance was so funny that test audiences begged the studio not to kill her off, leading to her miraculous return in Scary Movie 2. Keenen Ivory Wayans said, "We realized we couldn't kill Regina Hall. She's unkillable, so the joke came full circle." A parody of audience behavior became a scene that changed how audiences behaved and made a comedy icon out of Brenda Meeks in the process. Fact 15. This one's bizarre but true. During filming, director Keenen Ivory Wayans sometimes disguised himself as a crew member to sneak around the set unnoticed. Why? Because he wanted to observe how the cast behaved when they didn't think the boss was watching. He'd throw on a hoodie, baseball cap, and carry a fake clipboard while wandering through scenes. He said it helped him see which jokes landed naturally and which ones felt forced. When actors thought he wasn't around, they relaxed, and that's when some of the funniest improv moments happened. Marlon Wayans recalled that one day, Keenen popped up in the middle of a take and yelled, "Cut!" and nobody realized he'd been standing there for 10 minutes. Even Anna Faris didn't recognize him at first. This unconventional directing approach gave Scary Movie its loose, organic feel. The cast treated every day like comedy boot camp, constantly riffing, breaking, and rebuilding jokes on the spot. Keenan said, "When people think they're not being directed, that's when they're their funniest." Turns out, the secret to directing chaos is blending right into it. Fact 16. Sean and Marlon Wayans didn't just act in Scary Movie, they wrote, rewrote, and reimagined their characters every single day. The brothers were given total freedom to improvise, and nearly every Shorty and Ray scene went completely off script. Marlon later admitted that sometimes they'd make up entire conversations just to make each other break character. One legendary example, the "I'm on weed" scene. The script only said Shorty gets high. Everything else, the rapping, the smoke face, the chaotic camera angles came straight from Marlon's imagination. Crew members reportedly couldn't stop laughing behind the camera, ruining several takes. Their chemistry gave Scary Movie its unpredictable energy. While Anna Faris and Regina Hall played their roles straight for contrast, the Wayans brothers leaned into absurdity, constantly trying to top their last gag. Sean once said, "We weren't making fun of horror movies, we were making fun of ourselves watching horror movies." That authenticity made their humor infectious. Fact 17. It's hard to imagine now, but Scary Movie almost didn't make it to theaters. When the MPAA first reviewed the film, they slapped it with an NC-17 rating due to its extreme sexual content, violence, and bad taste humor. The Wayans were shocked they knew it was raunchy, but not that raunchy. Shorty's weed hallucinations and several graphic kills pushed the limits of what a mainstream comedy could show. The filmmakers were forced to submit 9 different edits before finally securing an R rating. Keenan Ivory Wayans fought to keep as many jokes as possible, even using clever editing to hide visual gags while keeping the punchlines intact. He joked that the MPAA didn't know whether to be offended or impressed. Some of the deleted content was so outrageous it's still never been released, not even in the unrated cut. Marlon Wayans later said, "There's a whole other version of Scary Movie that would have melted your popcorn." That constant battle with the censors actually made the final cut tighter and funnier, proving that sometimes limitations lead to comedy gold. Fact 18. One of the most memorable moments in Scary Movie is the Matrix-style slow-motion fight scene. But here's the crazy part. It wasn't in the original script. The Wachowskis' Matrix had only come out a year earlier, and the Wayans brothers thought it would be hilarious to spoof its iconic bullet dodge sequence if they could pull it off in time. So just weeks before the movie's release, they filmed the entire parody in a crash one-day shoot, using basic wire rigs, cheap fans, and a rotating green screen. They recreated the slick sci-fi action with pure DIY energy. The crew called it Matrix on a McDonald's budget. Anna Faris and Sean Wayans trained with stunt coordinators for hours just to make the exaggerated movements look believable. Sean said his entire goal was to look cool until I hit the wall. That last-minute gag became one of the film's biggest laughs and one of the first Matrix parodies ever made. It showed how fast the Wayans brothers were responding to pop culture, making Scary Movie feel instantly current. The best part? The scene cost less than $10,000 to shoot and ended up being worth every penny in laughs. Fact 19. In a hilarious twist of irony, the cast of Scary Movie didn't always know who was behind the Ghostface mask while shooting. The Wayans brothers intentionally kept it vague, just like in real slasher films, to make the actors' reactions more genuine. Anna Faris admitted that during early production, multiple stunt doubles and crew members rotated in as Ghostface sometimes without warning her before a take. There were moments when she'd walk onto set, and someone in the mask would pop out of nowhere, completely off script, just to see if she'd scream. It worked every time. The filmmakers called it method spoofing. Even funnier, Marlon Wayans said the mystery got so out of hand that one day, nobody knew who was supposed to be in the costume. A lighting tech had borrowed it for fun and accidentally wandered into a shot. The take was so funny, Keenan Ivory Wayans kept it in. That playful chaos blurred the line between parody and production prank, giving the film its spontaneous energy. Fact 20. One of the strangest moments in Scary Movie comes when Cindy is attacked by a skeleton. A total non sequitur gag that seems to come out of nowhere. Turns out that random bit of slapstick horror came from a real-life phobia on set. During production, one of the assistant set decorators had a deep fear of skeletons, like couldn't even look at Halloween decorations without panicking. Marlon Wayans thought this was hilarious and decided to mess with him one day by hiding a fake skeleton in a prop closet. The poor guy screamed so loud that everyone on set came running. Instead of apologizing, the Wayans brothers thought, that has to go in the movie. The skeleton scene was written overnight and filmed just days later. The puppet used was cobbled together from leftover Halloween props and mechanical parts from the Ghostface costume rig. According to crew members, it kept falling apart during takes, which only made the scene funnier at one point. The skull flew off and hit Anna Faris in the shoulder, and she just kept acting through it. It's one of those moments of spontaneous chaos that became iconic. And there you have it, 20 of the funniest, weirdest, and most unbelievable facts about Scary Movie. It didn't just mock horror, it redefined it, launched careers, and proved that sometimes the dumbest ideas make cinematic history. If you loved this deep dive into Scary Movie, hit like, subscribe, and ring that bell for more hilarious looks behind your favorite cult classics and comedy legends.